Hi, my name is Myles Kellerman. Welcome to a Southwestern guitar tutorial. Today we'll be covering Carcassi's second etude from his Opus 60 collection. In addition to sounding good, this piece offers great right hand and left hand techniques as well as learning higher positions up on the guitar. Let's take a closer look. This piece offers a consistent right hand fingering throughout its entirety. For this guitar tutorial, I'll be using the right hand fingering of P, I, M, A, M, I, M, I, as shown. Another left hand element to consider is the act of moving fingers early to create a nice legato transition between chord members. Notice in the fourth measure, as we shift from an E major chord in the fourth position to an E major chord in the first position, the second finger can be moved early to create a nice shift between these two chords, as shown. Another example of this technique occurs in the transition between measures 5 and 6, as you shift from a first inversion A minor chord to a G sharp diminished chord also in first inversion. Watch as my first finger moves early to facilitate this shift. Also notice the way in which my fingers are placed in sequence for the D sharp diminished chord. This technique also makes shifting easier. Now that we've seen some things you need to keep in mind while you're practicing and learning the piece, let's turn our attention to some things you need to keep in mind while performing the piece. I also want to talk about interpreting this piece, especially the way in which harmonic progression influences dynamics. We will do this by paying attention to the basic musical concept of tension and resolution in harmony. There are several notable examples that I would like to point out. The first occurs in measure 6 with the first inversion G sharp diminished chord we pointed out earlier. Because the G sharp diminished chord has inherent dissonance and is resolved by the A minor, it should be played louder. Another spot with great tension occurs in measure 10, where there is a third inversion C7 chord. This moment has a lot of tension in it, and in fact was so important that Carcassi actually repeats the chord. These chords are part of a very dramatic section of the piece that occurs just after the double bar in measure 9. It goes all the way through measure 16 and leads into the reprise of measure 17. The whole section should be played quite loudly. You might also notice some especially dissonant harmonies in the transition between measures 15 and 16, where Carcassi uses a German augmented sixth chord. This is used as preparation for the E7 chord, which could be the loudest part of the piece. These are just a few examples of how harmony influences dynamics. Looking for these should become a common part of your practice. Now I will be performing the piece slightly under tempo, so you have a chance to follow along with your score.